I want to ask you about the new census data that came out. It shows that childhood poverty went to 13.7%. It's more than double childhood poverty in 2021. So why aren't things getting better with all the programs and the money that's been spent or signed into law under the Biden-Harris administration?
What we were able to do because of the American Rescue Plan is that we were able to cut child poverty by nearly half, and that's a record low. And that's because we were able to expand on the child tax credit. And again, the American Rescue Plan, not one Republican voted for that plan. Not one. Especially if you just think back what was going on during that time. And they decided not to vote for it. Again, economy was in a tailspin. And to this day, Republicans have refused. They continue to refuse, repeatedly blocked our attempts to restore that expanded child tax credit. Again, you're talking about poverty? That's what it was able to do. And what it did is lift millions of children out of poverty. And this just happened as recently as last month. Senate Republicans blocked a bipartisan bill to expand the child tax cut. So we can build on what we were able to do the first year. Republicans are getting in the way. They're getting.
On another subject, the Treasury monthly statement came out today, and it showed that we still have a deficit. We're going to have a deficit of $1.9 trillion this year. The focus on the president and the vice president has been raising taxes. They want to raise taxes on corporations and others, and spending on programs. What's the plan for the debt?
So, we got to step back here for a second. The last administration increased the debt by a record $8 trillion. I hope you wrote about that. They didn't sign a single law to reduce the deficit. I hope you wrote about that. The President Biden, the current president, signed a $1 trillion of deficit reduction into law. He's taking action to deal with our deficit. $8 trillion deficit in the last administration. I really hope you wrote about that. And his budget would lower the deficit by another $3 trillion by making millionaires and biggest corporations pay their fair share. To your question, that's what it would do. Cutting spending on special interests. That's what he wants to do. Republicans want to, again, they want to increase the deficit by expanding the Trump tax cut, which would cost $5 trillion. That's what they want to do. So I really hope you wrote about in the past what the Trump administration did. And every question that you ask me, there's some irony. Every question that you ask me is something that we're trying to fix and Republicans get in the way of. Literally, every question that you ask me.
I'm talking about the debt. The actual deficit spending is still deficit spending. How do we reduce the debt?
And I'm telling you what the president has done. $1 trillion is not a small number in signing a legislation to deal with the deficit. Now, $8 trillion, a record number in debt, that's what the Trump administration did.